Hello, it's Sunday the 27th. It's the day after my brother's memorial service. I was going to originally just upload the memorial service, and then I realized, no, I don't want all of that shared. It was very hard, as well to be expected. I've never had this feeling before that I can recall. In all my anxiety attacks, all the different traveling I did that would give me anxiety. My heart, I didn't take my pulse. It had to have been well over 100. My heart was beating out of my chest. And when I got up to speak, I actually looked at my pastor and said, "You might have to hold me up." And he said, "Do you want me to stay up here with you?" And I said, No, but you might have to come back up, because my legs felt like jelly. I felt like I was going to go down. And I've never had that feeling. But I got through, and once I got done, and it was hard. I'm glad I didn't sing. I would have never gotten through a song. Never gotten through the song. The song that they ended up choosing to have sung was "You Should Be Here." And while it was being sung, I literally sobbed. Uncontrollable sobbing, because the words to that song just... But I'm going to go ahead and read my eulogy, so I have it on tape for myself, and it will give you a little insight of my relationship with my brother. And I'll probably be able to get it through this time without crying, but there's no guarantees. But I certainly did not get through it. All the times I had practiced prior to yesterday, I cried, and I cried while giving this. But as I said, after I came down from the pulpit, my youngest daughter was sitting closest to me, and she stood up and stepped over and just started hugging me really tight. And in my ear, she was saying, at first, "I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. And you did a fantastic job." And I said, "Really?" Because I didn't feel it. And she goes, "No, Ernie would have been really proud." So I started out with greeting everybody and thanking them for coming. I want to share with you memories of my baby brother Ernie and the journey of our relationship. He was 5 years younger than me, which was just enough of an age difference when we were growing up to make his presence a nuisance. Because our mother worked full-time and there was no father at home, I was often put in charge of taking care of him, especially during the summer months. I was forced to bring him everywhere I went. Everywhere with me and my friends, Ernie was by my side. Ernie, the little puppy dog, close on my heels, even though as a young teen I resented the responsibility. It was clear that Ernie was soaking up everything I taught him like a sponge, looking up to me, listening to me, and learning from me. When you're young, time is not an issue. Life is busy trying to find our way in this world. Years stretch out before you endlessly. When you view life like this, it becomes relatively easy to write someone out of your life and never speak to them. It starts with one day, then 1 week, then months. And in a blink of an eye, 13 years of total estrangement has gone by. Ernie and I both had married, and I had my second child, Brittany, and at 7 months, she needed to be hospitalized due to seizures. I was devastated and so scared. And in walks my brother Ernie, up to the side of her crib in the hospital room, and I literally fell into his arms, sobbing. You see, I never had a dad who comforted me in times of need. And I just remember feeling so comforted and so safe, cradled in his arms during this time of hoping and waiting. He was my gentle giant. He was my unshakable rock who lived life fearlessly. Later down the road, Ernie made some life decisions that caused a huge tear in our relationship. We didn't talk. First for one day, then for weeks, and quickly, 13 years of no contact had passed. Both of us continuing on with our own lives without one another in it. We were older. I had changed, and something in me, God, chose to lay down my sword and put an end to the silence. I wanted peace. I wanted love. I wanted my gentle giant back in my life. And so that we did. We made amends and began rebuilding our relationship as a brother and a sister. He moved around throughout the country and other states, visit infrequently, but we kept in touch and in contact via phone and Facebook and FaceTime. But this past March, we lost our mom. And before she died, Ernie traveled here 2 different times, although being very ill himself, to sit by her bedside with me. We spent hours talking, laughing, crying, and I begged him to come home. Come home. Come home, please. Come home. After months of pleading, his health caused him to finally agree that coming home was what he needed to do. He was to be back here by the beginning of November. I was looking so forward to having him here. It would have been the first time in over 20 years I had my brother here. I was making plans for the next stage of our relationship and the relationship he would have with his daughters. And then this had to happen. We both worked in the medical profession. We witnessed firsthand horrendous losses. We knew how fragile life is and how every breath is a gift. And yet still, when it is your own loss, it's raw and it's torture. The last time Ernie was able to even speak, we were on FaceTime with him, myself, and his 2 daughters. My last words to him were, I love you. And his last words to me were, I love you, Lainey. Our last words to each other on this earth will be our first words when we meet again in heaven. The last thing I want to say about my baby brother, is that even though he was younger than me and looked up to me in those early formative years, I learned so much from him. He struggled with health problems starting in his mid-20s. That only intensified over the decades. Dialysis 3 times a week, below-the-knee amputation, and more hospitalizations than I can ever even count. But did he ever complain? Did he ever curse God? Did he ever even say anything negative? No, not any of us can say that we ever heard him complain or be negative or anything. He made light of his illness. When he got his amputation, he dressed up as a pirate with a little peg leg, and he called it Stumpy. He made light of his situation. He was unshakable with his infectious laugh and always smiling. He was just grateful to be alive, even though being alive meant living sick, losing his independence. Ernie had so many reasons to complain, but he never did. And not any of us can even think of one time. Hospitalizations, so many illnesses. And he always would make fun of it and make light of it. So, in turn, I learned one of the greatest lessons from him: to be grateful for what I have and to not complain about what I don't have. Ernie, I love you, and I so regret all those years of estrangement. But I'm also so grateful for the reconciliation and time we did have at the end. So please say hi to Mom and Gary, and I'll see you soon, my gentle giant. Well, that was better than when I read it yesterday. Ernie had a vlog. He was a member of a couple of support groups, one being the amputation support group, and people who just met him online all shared stories about he was such an upbeat guy. The man needed a kidney. He was in complete kidney failure. He had so much pain. He fell so many times, breaking ribs and heart problems. And they said, nope, never complained. His vlogs were always funny and upbeat and encouraging. We watched his last one that he did before he died. Last evening, after probably 90% of the people had left, it was just his daughters, myself, my husband, another very close friend of his and his wife. I mean, really close friend. The one who's been a rock for me this whole time. And my daughter, and I can't remember, another friend. Just a handful of people were left. And we played the video, and it was a month ago. Now, remind you, he got out of the hospital a week before he died. This was another hospitalization before that. He just was in the hospital constantly. Falling, weakness, heart problems. It was just constant. Twice a month. 3 times a month. 4 times a month. It was just, he was in the hospital more than that. And this vlog, he's got a cowboy hat on. I never even knew he owned one. And he's just trying to sound like a Texan and making fun of the fact that he just got out of the hospital again and they can't figure out what's wrong, and be encouraged. He had just lost a very close friend from dialysis. You get to know somebody when you sit next to him for 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. And this person had just died the week before. And he was a year younger than my brother. My brother was 55. And he said that really impacted him, because he had just been with him a couple of days prior at dialysis. And he said it really shook him up, that you have to just embrace. And that's what I've been saying, guys. Embrace it. Do it. I know you're sick. I know we're sick. I had a great gathering back at the house. Prior to the service starting, I'd have to look back on my journal. I cannot tell you when the last time I had a migraine. And when I get a migraine, I get the aura. I get a classic migraine. It is not just the headache. You lose your vision for 20 minutes. It starts as a squiggly thing, and then it starts growing and growing, and then it becomes like this. And it's on both sides, and it's like that. You can't see. You literally can't see. And then that lasts 20 minutes, almost to the minute, 20 minutes, and then it's just gone. And then the headache here or here, you get the stabbing ice pick headache. And like I said, I would have to look back in my journals. It's been a long time since I had one. Well over a year. So I get back to the house after talking to a lot of people in the church. We only invited, we didn't invite the whole church back to the house. First of all, they wouldn't have fit. Second of all, I didn't want everybody there because this was definitely a time for people who knew him intimately. And my house was full. I had well over, I thought I was going to have about 25 people. I had more than that. But it ended up turning out really great. But so I get back to my house and I come in and there's people there and they're bustling and getting food out and blah, blah. And my grandkids are there. They were going to be picked up by a babysitter. So my daughter and her husband and my 4 grandkids are there. And they're running around and they're used to Gammy just being there for them. And it's Gammy, 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 Gammy. And all of a sudden, and I'm trying to get something, put some flowers away or something. And I look up and my granddaughter's talking to me and I can't see her face. I can't see her whole face. And I've had migraines since I was 18 years old. I am 60. I still panic when it happens because it is scary. To lose your vision, it's scary. Even though I know what's happening, I don't flip out panic, but I immediately said, oh my God, I'm getting a migraine. I have to go upstairs because I have to be in a complete dark room, quiet, and just wait it out. And I immediately just dropped everything, grabbed a glass of water, went up the stairs, shut my blinds, told everybody I got to be in my bed. I'll be down as soon as I can. And my grandkids all sticking their head in, Grammy, are you okay? Are you okay? My daughters come in, everybody's checking. I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. And sure enough, 20 minutes, my sight comes back and I have the headache, but I've taken Motrin and Tylenol. I took both because I don't take migraine medication. It upsets my stomach. And I've never tried the newer ones because I get them so infrequently. But the headache was absolutely doable. It was not, I could function. And I was able to go down and be the hostess, entertain. I listened to great stories about my brother laughing. I mean, the theme from everyone is Ernie was extremely funny and could make you laugh over nothing. I mean, one couple were telling me when they first got me, because they grew up together. They graduated from the school. My kids graduated from a private Christian school. And they were saying that they were the first couple to get married out of their group of friends, and the things that he was in their wedding, the things he did and said during the wedding, while the wedding's taking place, cracking everybody up. And my girlfriend was like, she goes, and I'm looking at your brother going, stop it, you fool. She goes, this is my wedding. She goes, stop making us laugh. She said, there came a time that her husband said, okay, we can no longer sit next to Ernie in church because all we do is laugh. He just would say something under his breath and murmur something, and then when you get the giggles and you're not supposed to laugh and you're trying to, the more you try to control it, you just get more. And she goes, and we would literally be like shaking laughing because the more I'd laugh, the more he would be saying something under his breath to make me laugh. And she goes, and so finally Eric said, we can't sit next to him in church anymore. We're going to get kicked out. But that was the theme. Ernie was funny. Ernie was funny. We both, very much alike, like to be the center of attention. We like to entertain. Video after video of us dancing and karaokeing and just being the center of attention. I watched a video this morning before church of my mother's 80th birthday party. My uncle had rented a huge place down in Massachusetts, and we had a huge celebration for her 80th, and it was a beautiful affair. And in this video, Ernie and I are dancing, doing I forgot the name of the song. It's a newer age song, Shuffle, and people are following along with us, and him and I are singing it and doing the dance together, and this is what we did. And I said, who am I going to dance with and karaoke with like that? Like that. No one ever again. I lost my... It's so surreal that he's gone.
I knew he'd be next. In my heart of hearts, I knew he'd be next because he was so sick. But I didn't think it was going to be this soon. I thought we were going to get him home. But I'm so grateful for the friends that gathered around yesterday and made me laugh. I mean, literally, they were here from 11:30 until after 7 o'clock last night. There was laughing, there was crying. It was very, very much needed. But then it's almost like a wedding in a way where you prepare for your wedding for months to a year. You get all set, you get ready. I remember my wedding, and then the day after the wedding, yeah, you're gonna be on a honeymoon, but you have a letdown. It's like, okay, oh, I'm not the center of attention anymore, and it's all done. And I woke up this morning thinking that. I said, it's all done. And now I'm on my own with my grief. I don't know. So I wanted to share that. The migraine, very odd, but it's clearly I was under so much stress. That's what brought the migraine on. Woke up very off balanced and shaky this morning, feeling like, the electricity, that electrical current going through your whole body. I woke up like that. When I got up to go to the bathroom, I felt very off balanced. But I went to church. I said, you know what, Ernie? I'm going to church. I don't care. You're going to have to knock me down off my feet. If I can get there one way or another, I'm going. And I went. I did it. That's how I'm going to live my life now, the way Ernie did. I'm going to just push and push and push until the Lord takes me home. It'd be so easy to just get in bed and stay in bed and say, I need a day of rest. I've already done a whole bunch since I've been home from church. I stayed at church for a very long time talking to a lot of people. Forgive me for a minute. Then when I got home, I've been doing things around the house, and I actually just had somebody come to the house, and I just sold another thing off of oh, sorry, that turned so orange. Something off. I just sold something on Marketplace again, so somebody just came to the house to buy it. Now I'm just gonna. It's later in the afternoon. I think I'm in my bed now, and I think I'll just do some reading. I was thinking about having one of my grandkids come over because I didn't get to spend time with them at all. They couldn't understand that. They were so strange. I mean, they knew what was going on, but they're little kids, and they just didn't understand. I mean, the littlest one, Wesley, when I was in my bed waiting for the hour to leave, my daughter had come in. I'm gonna try to turn this off again and see if that. Oh no, that's not good. And he was crying. She had him in her arms, and he was crying. And I was laying down, and it was dark in here, and I had my arm over my eyes, and I was like, "Why is he crying?" And she goes, "He wants his gammy. He just wants you." And I go, "Well, give him to me." She goes, "No, Mom, you're trying to rest." I go, "Just hand him. I can't look, but just hand him to me." And so and he laid his little head and just snuggled up to me, and I was just holding him and rubbing him because he doesn't. My grandkids want their gammy. And so I was thinking about having one or two of them come over and spend the day with me today because I didn't really get to spend any time with them yesterday, but I don't know. I just have to learn to live my life without both my brothers now and my mom. It's just me and my sister. I don't count my father. He doesn't get to count. He doesn't get to be counted. I know this is going to sound really raw to some of you, but I can't wait till he dies. I cannot wait for him he has no business being here on this earth. God loves him. I'm supposed to love him because God loves him, but I'm telling you, that man is a sick, sick man in the head. And what he has done to my family, I can't believe he's still here. And I'm sorry if that offends any of you, but that's my true feeling. I have forgiven him in my heart, but the raw Lainey comes out constantly. It's like, especially after my brother dying. This is my second brother that I've lost. So I'm going to stop. I've been babbling for over almost a half an hour. So God bless. Thanks for coming on and watching. And I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be back on. I have no idea where this will take me. Bye-bye.